Good afternoon and welcome to Cayman Conversations. I am Ralph Lewis, and today joining me is the Cayman Islands Master of Pan, Earl up here. Good afternoon, Earl. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon, Ralph. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Nice.
Thank you for joining me today on Cayman Conversations. We're looking forward to a great conversation. And
Good.
by the way, for the next hour, Earl will be giving us an update on the upcoming 17th staging of the Amin Mohammed Steel Pan Festival. We will also hear about his background in Pan and the future of Pan, the Cayman Islands. Now, let's talk Pan. So, Earl, where is Pan today?
Well, Pan today, Pan is in all the schools in Cayman, except one. I think it's on Truthfield, but most of the schools have steel pan in their programs now, in the high schools and the junior schools and the primary schools. Most of the schools.
Okay, great. And the last thing I heard about Pan was that there's a new competition, a festival coming up called the Amin Mohammed Steel Pan Festival. It's supposed to take place this week. Can you give us some more details on that?
It's on the 21st of this month at the John Gray Gym, the John Gray High School Gym. And it's going to be about close to about 10 bands or whatever in there. And the bands are trying to be the primary school, middle school, high school, college. Those are the categories that the bands are taking part in.
Okay. And are they young kids, older kids, all age groups?
Yes.
Okay. Are these experienced pan players? Have they been playing pan for years? Or
Some
are they just
bands,
starting?
some bands have the same players for about 2-3 years. You don't last long, but then after you move on, then you go to high school in the States, or you might move on to some college or something. But you spend at least about 3-4 years in the steel pan. When you reach UCCI in the college, after that, you're either making a move off the island or you're going to some school in the States or university somewhere in North America or something. But most of the kids have about 4 years in pan here.
Okay, excellent. So this 21st thing is this Saturday of this weekend. There is a big festival, and where's it gonna be?
It's going to be at the John Gray High School Gym. They have a new gym there that they host this. It was hosted there for about 2 years now. This is third year.
Okay, great.
This festival there.
Excellent.
Yes.
And it's sponsored by who? I think is it the government in combination with one of the local banks?
I think CNB has a lot to do with it too, and the education department.
Okay, very good.
Education department.
But let's talk about how this festival started. And by the way, the name Amin Mohammed, which is the name of the competition or the festival, is very close to my heart. I used to work with Mr. Mohammed in Cayman National Bank when he was a senior vice president. So I know him very well, even up to the time of his untimely passing. So I know him very well. And I could really remember those years when he was so involved with PAN. But you were telling me before this broadcast that you knew him before he came to
I
Trinidad.
knew him before. He has one of the bands in Trinidad, a band called Exodus. And when you talk about the Big Five is like All Stars, Steel Band, Phase 2 Pan Group, Renegades, All Stars, and somebody else is listening there. But it's the Big Five. Amin on Exodus is a part of that Big Five.
I see.
And he was one of these leaders that is a leader. Amin was a very strict and very good leader. I met him in Trinidad and I met him here with Mr. Gaston Maloney. He and Gaston were real buddies from school days.
Right.
Yes, so we became friends. Closer.
So he was a leader of that band in Trinidad.
Yes, Exodus Steel Band.
Exodus Steel Band, very well. So it was like very close to his heart.
Very good. And it's run by a bank too, Republic Bank of Trinidad.
Very good. Okay. I think that's one of the banks he worked for in the past. And so after his untimely passing, what happened to the steel pan? I mean, who decided or who came with the idea that we should have a festival in his name?
Well, Amin was a good friend of Gaston and myself. And Gaston and myself, when he passed it, we decided to keep something for Amin, a memorial or something. So we're going to do a festival, a steel band festival. And this is how we managed to come up with the name Amin Mohammed Steel Band Festival.
Okay.
And we used to keep it at the Lion Center, Gaston and myself. We even brought pan players from Trinidad in this festival, so we were doing fine. but it was getting kind of expensive for two people. And the education department came in and helped out with that finance by giving us a place for free. There's a place somewhere in Red Bay up there, that a place of their location in Red Bay that we could have used. So we were not at the Land Center anymore, but it continued with the education department and myself as friends and close information. We used to share information, how we're going to do this and how we're going to do that. And it worked fine. But now it's totally run by the CNB and the education
department. Yes. Yeah. Well, is there a course in school for pan playing, or is just after school activity?
It's at the college you get a credit.
At a credit, okay.
At the college you do get a credit for playing pan. In the other schools, like the high schools, you get it's more like after school programs or lunchtime program, something like that.
Well, and I know that there's a class, actually, the course in university for pan playing, because my daughter actually did that course. She actually got an A for that course in Toronto, in York University in Toronto.
York University, right? Yes.
Yes, and it was very interesting that there's a course in university in pan. So for those pan players, you can actually do pan playing in university as one of your courses for your degree.
Well, before I came here, I started that kind of course in Toronto.
Excellent.
So I was kind of responsible for getting the kids a credit in most of the high schools. So from that, when I left, most of the university, what your daughter went to, I picked it up. It was run by a guy called Lindy Bridges, Mr. Bridges.
I see.
Yeah. And it was good. She's graduated now and everything else. And
yes. Well, so tell us, what do those who go to the event on Saturday or on 21st, what do they have to receive? What can I look forward to? Is it going to be exciting, a lot of music, a lot of tempo, a lot of energy? What is this band competition going to have for them?
Most of the bands are prepared. They've been prepared since this competition was supposed to be on the 9th of February, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And then with COVID, we had to push it back and stuff like that. Then we got a tuner come up, pan tuner, to tune the instruments. And he was here tuning the instruments. And when he left, the COVID was still going on, but it kind of put him in a situation where he had to go into quarantine. So the time he should spend tuning back, he was in quarantine, and he got work done. And all the pans are tuned properly, and the festival is going to be a good festival. I hope so anyway, because I'm at the college most times, and I am really involved in the college steel band, which they have about 3 steel bands at the college. They have Pandemics 1, which is a senior band, then they have Pandemics 2, which is a junior band, and now we have a beginners band, which is causing another kind of rift there. Yeah, the judging or the education say we cannot judge them as a junior band before they go to college and stuff like that. So I'm going to leave that alone and talk itself. I don't want to get mixed up in that. I just want to run smooth.
Well, we hope that that will be sorted out. At the end of the day, it's about having an environment and having a meet or having a competition where all the kids can come and join and compete and have a great time. Because it's a display of talent.
Yeah. I like fun. I don't want to get into politics.
Yeah, it's a display of talent, and so
and skills.
Yes,
but I have an adult steel band. They call themselves Pan People. They operate out of the college too. It's like grannies and the older folks, and they have so much fun.
That's good.
They just want to do something. Some of the older folks who would have liked to try it before are doing it now, and they're so glad that they had the opportunity to do the pan at the college. So that fun class is a fun class.
Well, do you think I can learn pan at my age?
Yes. Compared to the other guys, those guys are older than you. I have a doctor in there. I had lawyers in there. I have all kinds of people in that particular class. they're so happy.
Well,
It's like aerobics. They come in and do a little aerobics and with the pan and stuff like that, and they
yes.
go home feeling really comfortable and nice.
I notice you're not mentioning a certain gentleman's name that I know he's very, very familiar with social media, and he has put it up on the social media page many times that he loves playing pan music. I'm referring to His Excellency the Governor. I understand you're his tutor. How come you don't want to tell me about that? I know that he loves pan and
Oh,
he
he has
adores
his
it.
own
So
pan.
let's hear some. Let's find out how come the governor wanted to play pan
The
and what happened.
governor, the governor wanted to play pan, and in Parliament he asked who could teach him, and my name was mentioned, and everybody was Mr. Lapierre, Mr. Lapierre, I, Mr. Lapierre. So I became his teacher, and he said to me, first thing he said to me, do not handle me like the governor, handle me like one of your students. And I will
Excellent.
never forget that. He said, handle me like a student, like no F-shots, call me governor, no. Handle me like we handle your students. And he came and he did one song, two. Now he has about 4 or 5 songs. His repertoire is growing. The governor is one of the, and I said to him, when he first started, I realized the governor views doing well on social media. So I called him, I said, God, you're about 37 something views been watching. He said, no, Earl, about 70 something now. He went 100 and I have never passed 50. And
Wow.
100.
Excellent.
One of my
Excellent.
best students. He is a good student and he really means well. He bought his own fan. He has his own case. He has everything. He has everything for himself. So he could play at his home and don't disturb anybody.
Excellent. Well, hopefully you'll be able to bring him on here, another conversation with us,
Oh,
and
love
have him
that.
play in the pan because I know he loves it.
You
But
know something?
it just goes to show that pan playing is for anyone and
And,
everyone, and no matter
and,
where you come from, you should be able to
and
play pan.
hear this, he is the first governor in the world to play the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago.
Excellent.
Only
Excellent.
one, the only one,
The only one.
only governor in the world.
Well,
And I know
if I may say something about the excellence of the governor, he has really adjusted. He has really involved himself in a lot of society, in the community matters. You've seen him all the time. He has assimilated into the Cayman community, and that is just another example of that assimilation by paying pan. But you were his tutor, so I'm sure you might get maybe one of those medals one of these days for pan playing. But you never know. You never know. All right, so. So we want to invite as much people as we can to come out to the events. It's Saturday night or Saturday evening
yes.
at the new John Gray
High school gym.
High School gym
Yes.
for a treat and a competition. And before we give our viewers a little taste of what the pan playing is, do you know what the prizes are for this event?
The price to go to the event, I think it's $3 for children, $3 and $5 for adults.
Okay. And what prizes will they win if
The
they?
prizes, they go from first prize to second place to third place, and then the runners up will get a donation or something to keep your bills, because you have to print shirts, you have to get T-shirts, you have to get trucks, you have an expense.
Okay.
The whole thing about steel pan, moving a steel pan, you have to have a truck. You have to get a truck rented to move all these steel pans to and from the event. So that, and what we'd like to see happen too, and while I'm here, I'm going to push for something. Try and get some of the steel pans are looking for premises to have professional steel bands. We're looking for premises to, I have panoramas and I have Cayman School for Pan that don't have a premises, so those bands are just isolated. I think that premises is very hard to get. I know we have to pay some rent, but we're looking for a premises for 2 steel band right now.
Well, we hope to get some sponsors or encourage some sponsors to come on board. And by using this media, we'll be able to encourage those companies to support local steel pan operation and steel pan competitions. And that's catching on. So we just need some positive things to do. And just as we prepare to hear a little clip of what happened at the commission last, so just tell us who's in that clip.
Actually, the John Gray Dream Team, they call them the Dream Team. They just are teaching them for 1 year, and they came first in their category. That's the John Gray Dream Team in the primary, or what they call it. I don't know what category that was at that time, but they came first. The John Gray Dream Team. They play somewhere, Cayman, popular song. I think it's Pop and Wine.
Okay.
That's what they played.
All right. Well, folks, thank you for joining us today. And here we go. We're going to present to you kind of the high school dream team.
That's right.
Wow, I'm jumping and wine.
Bump and wine.
Wine. Whoa, that was.
Oh, God.
I love the energy from all those players. They're so young. It's amazing. I mean, imagine my days in steel pan. And I didn't play it, but I was jumping with the bands. And I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it. And I've
yeah.
seen it on the streets here, and I've seen it around. And folks, we invite you Saturday. Got to go down to the John Gray Gymnasium and support all this good music. It's all about having a good time and hearing
Well,
some real Caribbean music. Yes, Earl. Tell me how were able to teach all these students.
boy, something, the students is giving me energy because if the anything I show them to do, they would do it. No complaints, still that too hard. No, they try their best. They give me 100%. And these kids have me feeling the way I feel. Good.
Excellent. I can see the passion and hear it in the voice.
The energy
All right.
and the energy too. That energy that they have.
Yes. Is it very loud or it's easier okay on the ears? I mean, being in that room, is it very loud?
It's something most of the acoustic places now are it's not that loud on the air because the acoustics are really good and when they practice in the hall, they have their nice little acoustic. That recording was in the gym and the acoustics is very, very good.
Yes, the quality was good. I'm very impressed just with a smartphone and playing it right here live on YouTube, Facebook. And for those of us who just joining us today, welcome to Cayman Conversations. We're talking with Earl up here, the master of the Cayman Islands, and we just heard a clip of one of his of the competitions last year. And we're really bumping and whining today. It's good. But we're gonna take you back into Earl's history. I'd like to hear where you started from. Because nothing happens overnight. You just didn't wake up and next day you were teaching pan. What happened? How you got into this business?
It was not like that. I was born in Trinidad, all right? And I always wanted to play pan. Most Trinidadians would love to play pan, but they don't have. Some people have a good opportunity too, and some people don't. I had a good opportunity too because they had all them nice bands in the West. In the West, had the cream of the crop. So I learned to play pans in the West, and I was very fortunate. I was very fortunate to be playing pan in the West because I was a soloist. I learned to play from the best pan players. I had the cream of Mr. Ellie Manet, one of the best pan tuners that came out of Trinidad, had his band called Invaders, and eventually I grew up in Invaders Steel Band. I ended up arranging in Invaders Steel Band. I was one of the youngest arrangers in Trinidad. And I had a good time in the sense of growing up with pan. I know my children are doing the same thing, like Jimmy and Caesar and Earl Jr., they're all doing the same thing with pan. All my kids are doing the same thing with pan too at a young age. I had a good time. It's so much to talk about that I had a real wonderful time in pan. I'm still having a good time in pan because I'm still teaching young people how to play pan and they're doing well. I went after the Trinidad scene. I went up to Toronto.
Right.
Did the same thing. I ended up teaching at the University of Toronto. I ended up teaching pan in Toronto, and I give them something that they have right now. They have panning classes that is a credit. We don't have that here. We only have one school that gives credit, which is the UCCI. And but I did well.
So how did you come to the Cayman Islands?
But something, I came here for Paris Week. For 10 days in 1986. I came here for 10 days. It was Mike Lockwood at that time. And
Yes.
Dave Martin, I think Dave Martin was around. And Dave Martin had known of us in Toronto. And he got us to come down to the Cayman Islands to play pan for 10 days. It was about 6 of us. And when I got here, everybody was so curious about this. What is this guy playing? And they keep watching this pan, they're looking under the pan to see where the song is coming from. So what I did in my 10 days, I went and visited most of the schools here and I did some workshops in the schools to teach the kids what is a steel pan. But they were all curious. And when I was ready to leave to go back to Toronto, was the hardest part because I could tell the government, the Cayman Tourist Board would love to see more pan here, and they asked me if I would come back. And I said yes. It happened that I came back and I started teaching, and it was like I was in the right place at the right time.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Um, I know pan has taken many different forms. I remember those gentlemen getting those oil drums and cutting off the tops and beating them out. I remember hearing those hammers and in the backyard, pan yards. But now there's a so advanced levels of pan. I mean, the pan, you know, the people are carrying them in traveling bags and they're shiny. What
Chrome
has
plated.
happened to pan over time? How has it
Chrome
developed?
plated. They're all chrome plated.
Chrome plate. Oh wow.
Chrome plated. Those
Chrome plate
shiny
is
parts
what?
are chrome plated. What has happened? Like those the years that you were talking about is that you should use an oil drum, an old oil drum, but now people don't use old oil drum anymore. You go to the
Okay.
factory and you buy new drums because you could order what you want. In your days, or when we're talking about in those ancient,
Yes.
you had a hole on top of the
Yes.
drum, right? You couldn't use that part of the drum at all. It had a hole where you empty the oil from, right?
Right.
And
Yeah, I
so
remember.
now you could go to the factory and order both sides, like so, both ends are end bottoms. They're not tops anymore. You could order two
Bottoms.
bottoms, which
Okay.
could have one pan on top, one pan below, and they're
I see.
brand new drums.
Brand new.
And you don't have to be burning stuff that you're smelling. This, you don't know what you're burning, so the
Right.
factories were careful about what they're burning. So
I
they
see.
all buy new drums now,
Okay.
brand new drums.
So there's an industry now for pan. There's companies that are making pan and selling them.
Yes, those companies, and there's no dents. The pans are very clean.
I've seen it. I mean, I see it, and the sound is amazing. But it still brings back those memories of steel pan and can you talk about when you have 200, 300 people playing pan one time, or is that too much? Is that possible to have that much people playing pan together?
We used to have that, but some bands were dominating the place. Some bands were getting bigger than the rest. So they call it pan trinbago. The body of pan has said, listen, your band has to be 125, no more. Big band, medium band 90,
Okay.
and small bands 50. Because those bigger bands were just too big.
Yes.
Too big for the too big.
I know.
300 pounds or 300 pound player. Some bands still have 300, and you have to fight for your place in the band.
Yes.
The band that I play with in Trinidad is called Phase 2 Pan Group. They would have at least about 200 and something, and you have to fight for your place out of that 125. Or the 200, you have to fight to make that team of 125.
I don't want to get into technical, but is there a bass drum or lead or tenor pan? Can you just briefly explain what makes up a steel pan band?
In your what you're talking about in your time, those were the names of drums that people used to talk about years ago. Now things have gone to the school system where it has to change. A tenor pan is called a soprano pan, but you're the lead. You're a soprano now. Before these have the double pan, it's called the double seconds. It's not a double second anymore. It's an alto pan now. So you have soprano, altos, cellos, basses. So it's all musical now. You can go to the store and buy music for these particular pan. You could not buy a tenor pan for a tenor pan in those days. But tenor pan is really a cello.
Yes.
When you buy tenor pan music, it's cello music you buy. When you want to ask for soprano, you're on the right track.
So it's no more steel pan, it's an orchestra.
It's an orchestra, yes.
Excellent.
And the steel pan is a pan man like myself, they call me a steel panist.
Yes.
I'm a steel panist, yeah.
I'm
a steel panist.
So time has changed. But the point I want to drive home, and the young people listening as well, old people, that this is not just something in the past that people will play steel pan as a hobby. It's now a profession. It's now a qualification, and it has been taken to different levels. And so in the Cayman Islands, we do have professional pan players like yourself, but also the kids are coming up and they're learning pans. I know there's a number of young folks that actually perform in the commercial entities. I know Michael LeMay. I remember seeing him doing a lot of, and there's other guys with him. I just don't know the names.
My son, he's doing that too.
Yes.
Nicholas Bell is doing that too. The amount of pan players that I have taught, I heard Dave Martin wrote an article once. He said this guy came here with nothing, and he just set up all these steel pans here. From nothing to something. They mother always tell me, and never see me. See, boy, you did a good job.
Yeah, excellent. And I would like us to just take a few minutes to go down that road.
Mhm.
You know, as we see young folks on this, having a good time and looking for things to do. As you know, that there's some who can't find employment, and isn't this something that we probably could encourage to have Pan being promoted more around the island, where other people can come on board and help to promote a good habit, a good trade, something that we like doing and can actually turn us into musicians. Is this something that you think that can be done if we all come
It
together,
can be
media
done. It
and the
can be
private sector, and sort of have a program going where people or young folks can come to an organization and have a lesson pan playing and sort of mix with people who love to play pan?
something that has been done on the island already. It's not advertised, but there's so much pan players on the island that there's so many hotels here, not one pan player. So many hotels here on the island, not one.
Mhm.
And the tourists love that pan song. That song at the pan, they love that. I would like to see most of the hotels find like a single pan player, one man, two men, three men, a little
Yes.
band now and then. Look at the bands that we have. When you go Saturday to the show that we have, you would see how much steel bands we have here. Now, the little clip that we were watching just now, when the band were playing, you see these other colors pans behind them.
Yes.
The bands from the Brack. Cayman Brack has a nice steel, has three steel
Yeah.
bands. Cayman Brack has
Okay.
three steel bands. Two in the primary school, one in the high school.
Okay. Well.
These bands, who they work for? They don't work for nobody.
Yes. Well,
Man's doing something in the like when a cruise ship come in, have these fellas around playing fun.
of course, I think there is, especially now when we're trying to look at different industries and trying to look at different things to do. I think Pan can be a big player in it. Actually, I've spent a couple of months in Cayman Brack, and I've never really heard them. But I'm gonna go back, when I go back next week. I'm gonna sort of research them and see where they are,
Please,
because
do that.
I
Please.
think there is an opportunity to have more young people involved in this kind of thing, and not only pan playing, but sports and other things that can give that can lead to a career.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone can work in the banks or in newspapers, but people can be musicians, and pan playing is something that anybody can learn, and it's amazing. Music is food for the soul, as we say. So I like this idea, and I think that I would encourage private sector and entities, not only the government, but private sector partners, come on board and let's see how we can use pan to reach those who like to do something different.
I would like to thank the Cayman Islands for that opportunity to give me the opportunity to play solo, because when I first came as a solo pan player, like a one-man band, I didn't have no background. I just the panel, playing the panel.
Yes.
Then I added a drum machine. Then I start seeing the way I could get a background music from fellas to do a background for me. So it has developed to be not only me alone. I have created where the one-man band has developed all over the world. Everybody's playing a one-man. There's so much one-man band steel pan players now. And when you hear these guys play, it's like they sound like a whole band because the background is so nice. The pan player is unique. The sound of the steel pan is so truly tuned. So thanks for the case. That has happened. Seriously. Thank you.
And I've seen around the world where the steel pan has really moved around. And maybe you can just talk about some of the places that have encouraged and welcomed steel pan playing, not just in the Caribbean, but I think in Europe, there are many pan players there too. Can you speak to that for us?
Europe has a big steel pan competition in England. Well, Notting Hill Carnival, Notting Hill Carnival.
Yes.
And they have a big, after Trinidad, it's New York, then Europe. In the language of Carnival, steel pan Carnival. Those bands are humongous. Most of the kids from the Cayman Islands are up there playing pan too, because they went up there to go to school.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's
that's the
correct.
thing about in steel band. And they're, when did you learn to play band like that? In the Cayman Islands. And people are shocked that Cayman Islands have those good band players that could come from one country to another and just jump in, just jump right in the groove.
Yeah, and that's good.
Jump
And that's
right in
good.
the groove. Yes.
Let's talk about the future of Pan from your eyes. Where do you see Pan going? We have some ideas of what we would like to do, but there's a competition on Saturday, and I think we had competitions in Paris week as well.
Yeah, Thomas, I had one
Yeah.
of them called
So
Panic.
where
Panic.
do you see Pan going?
I I want to see it do more in the lines of concerts, in the lines of concerts. I would like to take Pan to like East End, to North Side, to West Bay, to all these areas. Like every other weekend I do something with Pan to take just drive them up and have a Pan concert. I'm into that now. I'm looking to do that right now, to take
Okay.
Pan right around the island.
Okay. So do you think that you might want to take a group of Pan players to Cayman and maybe have a Pan festival there where
I
you
would,
invite those some schools from Grand Cayman to come up for a weekend and have a weekend of Pan? I'm sure you'll get a lot
I
of
would like to see that.
folks
I would
in Grand
love
Cayman
to see
flying
it.
over for a weekend of Pan because we could put them on the barge and take the pans up and like how they had Butter Bracknell this week last weekend. It could have been a Pan festival playing pan music, and I think that's something that is.
It's
Do you think something
missing.
that we can look forward to?
It's missing in the brand. That
Yes.
what you're talking about is missing in the brand. We took our band up there, which was Panoramas. We took them out there for the Badabano already. It was kind of like tough to get the pans up there, but as you see, we put them on the barge and stuff like that. And the smaller ones can go on the plane,
Yes, of
but
course.
the
Yeah.
bigger ones go on the barge and the smaller ones go. But it would be nice to visit from Cayman
Yeah.
to the brand. We have never done that in a long, long time. That would be very good idea. Very
And don't forget Little Cayman.
I,
The-
I,
in the,
I go to Little Cayman to do like weddings and stuff like that.
Yes, yes. And I do remember when I used to play music at weddings, they would actually have a steel pan playing along
Yes,
with the DJ or even with a saxophone player or a flutist. They will always have a pan players. And that's where
oh,
some Michael Lemay a lot of times, and even your son,
yeah.
what's it, is Jimmy?
Jimmy, yes, yes.
Jimmy is doing the weddings along with me too. So I think that we've been exposed to pan playing. We just need to have some more of it done. And the schools are doing their best and they're doing this big event. And Cayman National Bank is one of the major sponsors for it this weekend. And they have always been, as we know, Mr. Amin Mohammed. And we don't want to get away from the whole reason for this. It was Amin Mohammed's
I mean,
um,
yes,
Pan Festival, and
yes.
of course competition, and of course we want to have in with his memory. At the end of the day, it's an event that has been put on this weekend, and we want to encourage as much people to go and support it, and look forward to other Pan events in the future. Will you be staying in Cayman to teach Pan, or you have planned to travel around the world like everybody else?
I normally stay in Cayman, but when it comes to Christmas and Carnival time in Trinidad,
Right.
I'm going to Caribana in July, Trinidad February, and Christmas time I go to Trinidad again in for
Okay.
Christmas or something. But what you said, I would like to see something happen downtown though, where we have those concerts downtown. They're trying to develop downtown or build up downtown into something. Bring back downtown as downtown, right?
Yes. Yes.
Next
Yes.
some field band down there too.
Okay, yes. Like how yes, they plan to. Of course, they actually have started. They blocked off one of the streets, and
Yeah.
they're doing things in the middle of the road. So, like,
Mhm.
yes, maybe they should put a stage and have it there for steel pan players to go on or local players to perform on a regular basis.
Because
And
when the cruise ship comes out, there's people nothing, they have nothing to just walk around and just gaze and sit
yes,
down and have a nice drink or something, or a nice soda or something, or some water and listen to some music.
yeah, I totally agree. And here we go again with the ideas. Steel pan downtown,
Downtown.
where the cruise ships are here. That's a
Yes.
great idea. And think
Good opportunity for the young people to work too.
yes, and the thing is, we want to have something different. We've been accustomed to the live bands, but that's good too. But here's steel pan playing, taking a drum, whether it's new or old, and actually making music from it. And like I said, it's fascinating and it's Caribbean.
It's
And many
good.
of those tourists like Caribbean things.
I
And so
love
this is
it.
something different. And like I said, when they come on the beach and they visit the island, then they ask for the pan.
That's
Ask for
the
the
point.
pan.
You
Ask
still
for the
do a
pan.
Treasure Island, a Treasure Island, go and say, where's the pan man? Where's the steel man? But everybody knows Treasure Island was for pan. They have pan there every Monday.
Yes.
Pan at
Yeah.
Treasure Island.
It's a
You know,
Caribbean thing.
I went back to Treasure Island and asked, I talked to the manager there to try and bring back that atmosphere with pan. And he was just staring at me like I'm talking French. And he was
Mhm.
not the kind of word I was saying. He was listening he was listening and wasn't listening.
Yes.
When I start coming in, I hear some rock band playing on. Oh my God, rock music, louder,
No, yes. Have
very
you
loud.
have you ever yes, I have a question for you. Have you ever thought of bringing one of the expert plant players, your colleagues, to Cayman for maybe a trip to just demonstrating, or maybe some young person who is a star around the world demonstrating their talents? It's always good to showcase these things. Have you ever thought of doing that?
Yeah, we did it already. We did it. We did it when Amin Mohammed used to bring up Len Booksy shop. We used to bring
Okay.
Len Booksy shop to do that, to demonstrate his skills and stuff. We used to do
Yes.
that. Yeah.
And
But
just
now the pamphlets here in Cayman are getting to that stage where they get to showcase themselves to now.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
they're getting better and better.
Well, we just saw a clip, and I'm very excited about it. I mean, I hope other people who just saw the clip will.
That's a small man.
That's a small band, and they were jumping and they're moving, and it sounded good. It
Yes.
sounded good, and it's amazing. And so we hope to actually grow and build on that sort of excitement and skill. And we're getting close to when we're going to say goodbye. But I'm going to ask a few questions. For those of you who just joined, and we are talking with Ms. Earl Lapierre on Cayman Conversations, and today it's about real topics and real people, and it's about Steel Pan. A big Steel Pan event is happening this Saturday right here at the John Gray Gymnasium, and Earl has taught a lot of these students how to play pan, and they're going to compete at different levels. Is it from primary school or just high school?
From primary go right up to college.
Excellent. So you'll see a range of kids at different ages. So we encourage all our listeners, all our those who are listening on radio or viewing on YouTube and Facebook, that come on out and see something great. It's talent, raw talent, and it's amazing where this thing comes from.
And where could you get raw talent like that for $5 and
Yeah,
$3? Dude,
I don't know.
nowhere. You have
Nowhere,
it again.
nowhere,
You can
nowhere.
have it. You have it.
Okay. Do you use the books when you play from pan, or is it all by ear?
I try my best. I learn from air. I can read and I can write. But I try to teach the kids to hear.
To ear, okay.
To hear notes. Like I play a note. Boom, 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 boom. I say, what note is that, class?
Wow.
Some would get it, some wouldn't get it. And
Okay.
at least you're learning to hear the sound of a note. That's an A. That's an A.
Yes.
At least you tried it.
Yes, that's right. It's
Yeah, that's it.
very good. I wonder if you take some time and teach me one of those days to learn to play pan.
Listen, man, you are a musician just like me. You are a DJ. You should be doing that a long time. You know what
Wow.
my principal said to me, how come you teach the governor and he didn't ever teach us? I said, well, you never asked. You asked, you. They never asked me.
Well, I'm asking now publicly.
You have me. You have
Okay,
me. And we are in the same area on the same Walker's Road.
yes, you could always
Yeah,
come
all the
here.
times on Walker's Road.
Excellent. So that's one of my New Year's resolutions.
I'm going to lend you one of the drums one so you could fool around and have
There
it.
you go. I have so much things doing now, and maybe I could compete with the governor. We can have a little player, have a little playoff. Have a little,
Boy, that's big. That's big. That's big.
have a little
That's big.
playoff.
Serious. That's big, Ralph. Serious. That's big.
I'll say that. Well, it's very interesting, and I really appreciate the time that you took out to talk to us about Steel Pan and what's happening. And any final words you'd like to say before you leave?
You roughly have touched base on so many things where Pan is concerned. I know Pan is right now, Pan is in good hands. And I'm very proud to know that I was part of that. And I'm very happy for all the pan players. Do your best in the weekend. I'm here to support you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. And do you have any files or any archives where we can have different music in case someone wants to get some pan music that they would like to play? Where can we get this music?
You know something? I'm hearing a lot of pan now on air. I don't know where it's coming from, but there's a lot of pan music on the air right now. Because these guys like Andy Norrell, Robert Village Group, these guys are professional. They play in the movies and stuff like that. And the recordings now are so it takes like a long time now. When you hear pan now, it's like an instrument. You hear an instrument. And I want to get back to you on that. I'll investigate that and get back to you on that.
Well,
In your archive where we could get some pan music and stuff. In Cayman is very limited here in Cayman.
well, please get back to us on who were the winners for the competition. Because
I
we
will
like
do
to
that.
publish as
Yes, I
well.
will. I will. I
And
will.
we'll have our reporters at the event as well. And folks, you can actually pick up the Caymanian Times Friday paper to read about this interview with Mr. Pear. And also, we will be publishing an article on the competition next week, and we'll be able to write about who the winners were. But also, we want to showcase them on the conversation in the future. Maybe you'll come back with some of your winners, some of your staff. I know you were trying to bring a gentleman
All right. Yes, that's a good idea.
with you
There
today,
you go. Yes.
but
Nice.
unfortunately, he couldn't make
Yeah,
it.
how
And
they feel. Let's hear how they feel. Yes.
yes.
Let's see how the winners feel. Yes.
So in about 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be back here with a follow-up to this show. Well, Mr. Lapierre, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you all the best in the future of PAN. And folks, thank you for watching us one more time. We had a Cayman Conversation. I'm Ralph Lewis. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Thank you.